What's going on? It's your boy Certified Real, back with another video. It only gets realer from here. But first, I want to give a shout out to all my fellow Pisceans out there. Gang, you already know. We in the building. Also want to give a shout out to all my 2-2s and my 3-3s and my 2-2-2s and my 3-3-3s and my 7-7-7s. And shout out to any other angelical numerical numbers that I may have forgot to mention. Also want to thank everybody for coming out to support the channel. Thank you. And those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell notification to be notified of my upcoming videos and content. And we're going to jump right in. So today, I want to talk about Pisces. Stop living in the past because it's keeping you trapped. Now, one thing for certain is the fact that you gotta stop reliving the past, because everybody knows the past is already long gone, over with already. And it could destroy your future when you keep looking back. See, even those memories that you get, even when you know that, oh, even if things were very good in the past and you just want to relive that moment, it's not always worth it. Now, Pisces, like I say, you are your biggest enemy at the end of the day. It's not always about other people being your enemy. Now, the very thing that can haunt you, the very thing that can hurt you, is the fact of those memories. See, welcome, Goldie. Say, real, we can get another part 2 on the Libra women. Yeah, I can do that for you, Brody. I hope I'm, yeah, definitely. Yeah, so welcome as well. How your day going? And did you have like a bad experience with Libra, or you just want to like get a better understanding of them? Yeah, because I ain't gonna lie, Libra women is they could be a challenge. See, because you don't really know how a Libra how they really feel. See, and sometimes they keep it from you. But when it comes to entertainment purposes, sometimes they want, to talk to you, because Libra craves what? Stimulation of the mind. See, what's going on, Ronnie Boo? Welcome. How you doing? See, Goldie said, no, just a better understanding. That's the only sign that's tricky to you. Oh, okay, yeah, definitely, very, very tricky. See, because you're dealing with someone that craves justice, that likes to be in the middle of things rather than going against a particular person or situation, because that will require them to be more decisive. See, and they like to be more in control. Now, so yeah, I'll do a analyst on Libra women. I'll drop another video for you. Yeah, because like I say, at the end of the day, Libras, like I say, every zodiac sign has good qualities and bad qualities. Obviously, just like Pisces, we have good qualities and bad qualities. It's just that when you don't really know how to, communicate with each sign, because of it, sometimes the situation can backfire, where you're trying to be cordial, you're trying to be fair, or hey, you're just trying to, get along with others, and all of a sudden you realize that your way of communicating with them is not the same, or doesn't feel comfortable to you. So that's why I'm here to break it down for you, so that way you can communicate with each sign in a better way to actually have a connection, if that makes sense. I appreciate that, Goldie. I appreciate that. Yeah, welcome, Rashid. Welcome to the live. Okay, so yeah, as I said, Pisces, you are your biggest enemy. It's not so much with other people, and it's because of your memories. And this video is about, or live stream is about, why you shouldn't relive your past, because those memories can harm your future. Because it all starts with a thought. What's going on, Master? Welcome. Pisces gang, Master, we in the build done. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, just, even if you have a thought about the past, it could be your relationships, it could be your failures, it could be things that you wish you could have done differently. And just the thought of it can actually ruin a new situation presently that you are in right now. So as a Pisces, as a human, you remember everything. It's very hard not to miss anything. It's very hard to, forget anything. So what does that tell you? Even those painful situations that you experience, those are even more difficult to get rid of. So if someone hurt you, betrayed you, robbed you, done you so bad in so many different types of ways, you know that you're not going to easily forget that. So with that being said, the betrayals, those memories can hurt you today if you think about it, if you relive your past based off of continuing to what? Still be hurt by those thoughts and see the versions of yourself that no longer exist can hurt you, see? So that's why you have to look at every day as being a new day, that, hey, what happened yesterday is already long gone, over with, expired. Now, here's the truth. When us Pisces, we live in the past, what does that do? That keeps what? That keeps us reliving the karma, see? That karma already came and went. We have no business bringing it back, trying to run it back. So once it already ended, don't try to relive it, because why would you hurt yourself twice on purpose? Now, the past, just understand the past was a lesson to be learned. So you know that it wasn't a life sentence, and it still gave you another chance at life. Gave you another chance, so you have no business reliving the past, because now you have another chance. Only reason why that situation felt painful is because you probably were vulnerable or weak in a certain area where you had to learn, you had to become strengthened in it to not fall for it again. Appreciate everybody that just came in. Yeah, everybody typing 6-7. That's so funny. Now, yeah, another thing, you know, I understand how addicting it is. You know, it's a habit, it's a habitual, routine that's very habit forming, where, you could just think about a lot of things that you were just completely pissed about that happened 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And even if you felt like you learned a lesson from it, you may think that, oh, I probably would never try it again, or hey, I probably would never do, that particular thing that embarrassed me, or hey, made me, not want to ever do it again. And so if that's the point, or that's the case, I'm here to tell you that that's a lie. Because if you failed at it in the past, the lesson you learn, it's time for a second chance. It's time for you to what? Have a new mind, a new vision, and to go try that thing again. So let's say, for instance, guys that struggle with getting women, just getting a date in general, a girlfriend. Let's say you tried to approach women in the past and you've just failed at it, or you didn't feel confident enough, or hey, you got the heebie-jeebies, or just a nervous reaction to your nervous system in regards to approaching women. You could have just been a shy person. You probably just didn't know what to say. But that doesn't mean you can't get one. Just means that you have to learn how to approach. See, because you could focus on one thing, and then all of a sudden that can make you just become closed off. That can make you freeze up, because if you focus on rejection, then you're going to fear it. See, because you fear not being accepted. So the best way to look at it, if you're trying to approach, like if you're trying to get women, you got to go out there and get them. See, I always and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, because I'm not a comedian, but like, you got to think of getting women and approaching women just like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. You got to go out there and catch them. See, it's like you got to go out there. They're not going to come to you. You got to go out there in the grassy areas and wait until, something starts to You know, you hear a little movement, then it's like, yo, throw the Pokeball out there and catch one and hope, hey, after 3 shakes, it's yours. See? So it's like it's not something that even a person that's just even if a person is rich, they got the whole suit tie thing going on, they can still be rejected. Because you gotta understand, it's just like the ball being in your court. Now, if if you have skills, if you know what to say, if you have a good, just communication skills, this will not be hard at all, because it's all about what you say more than what you do. See? Because listen, if you think of your form and your shot, if you could play ball, you know how your jump shot, you know how to shoot with that particular form, that the ball is going to go in the hoop, and that you seldomly get your shot blocked. So if only time you get your shot blocked is because you're not focused. See? So that's the thing. That's all it takes, a little focus, a little confidence, and just always know that even if she rejects me, there's still more women out there. See? Have an abundance mindset, because we all get rejected. It just happens to the best of us. You just gotta not even get mad about it, not even be fazed by it. It's like, okay, yeah, she said she had a boyfriend, or hey, she's not interested. Boom. Okay, there go another one. Let's go. Boom. You just gotta keep going, because the funny thing about this is that you're going to get one. See, if you go at 100 females, out of that 100, you're gonna at least get about, even if you just butt ugly, even if your whole situation is screwed up, you're gonna at least get about 2 or 3, and that's enough. I mean, hey, if you got it, like if you got you got the whole thing down pat, you might be lucky, you might get 100. See? But I'm saying, for the average Joe Blow, 1 or 2 is enough, unless you're a freak. You see? Unless you just a management king of just of diggling. Unless you trying to have swing and dang about 20, 40 of them, then hey, that's your thing, then hey, that's you. Now, another thing is that let me see. Hey, it's Misty. I'm trying to think. It's Misty in the. Hey, Brody, stop spamming, bro. Stop spamming, G. Let's see. Yeah, let me playing that. Yeah, it's pretty cold out, but it's not as bad. It's funny because it's like 15 degrees, but it actually feels warmer because it's been like 0 for the last couple of days. Samuel, yeah, definitely. It's been super cold, but it actually feels good right now, or feels comfortable. Now, so when it comes to the next thing, okay, so you have to not let those past thoughts affect you, because you will become controlled by it. See, you become a prisoner of your past when you start to think like this. See, because why? Those chapters were already closed. So when you rethink them, when you rethink of them, it comes back just as it did when it first happened. So it ends up robbing you of what? A new opportunity. So getting back to Pisces, they weren't meant to be stuck in the first place. See, Pisces, you were meant to what? Transcend. So that being said, the moment you let go, that's when the reality shifts. See, you change your reality because you agree, you accept it. This is what you're thinking. So you got to let go of the old and let the new in. So if you don't do this, the past will keep repeating itself. See, it's almost like once you think about it, because the karma had already done what it was supposed to do, now it becomes louder, harsher, and more painful. See, because it's almost like, why are you rethinking this thing? Why are you bringing this situation back up with these old thoughts from the past? So now it's like, this is when it becomes worse than when it happened in the past. Now, I'm going to tell you the reasons why Pisces shouldn't be a prisoner of the past, because, as I mentioned, it reactivates old karma. See, then let's say you start to meet a new person, and then you start bringing up your ex. You start bringing up, oh, well, my ex used to do this, or hey, you have these fears of the past, of how things used to be in your past relationship, and you start to mention this person to your new partner. That's going to ruin your whole new situation, because why are you still thinking about your ex in a new situation? Why are you still thinking about how things used to be? It has no relevance with what's going on right now. See? So that's why it blocks new love. Like I say, and all it does is it attracts what? Familiar pain. See? Because that's what you're thinking about. You are almost activating and reassuring yourself that, oh, it's okay for me to revisit the pain that I already experienced. It also drains your intuition. See? Another thing, keeps you emotionally frozen. Just, that's the whole thing. You know, a lot of people, like I say, it happens to the best of us. It's just that once you know better, then you start to, you won't do this anymore, because you'll realize just how defective, just how it ruins everything. So another thing, when you think about the past, it confuses your present identity. See, you start to think, oh, I'm just like how I used to be, because you're thinking about your old self. It weakens boundaries. See, if you're used to lock, hey, if you used to leave the window open, but now you're going back to lock it because in the past you had somebody come, you had someone push that boundary and they got in, and they hurted you, that's gonna end up ruining things even worse. See? So now you end up confusing where those boundaries are, and they are weaker. Because some people that get hurt by particular situations or people, they almost become a prisoner. They become controlled by that person, to where they just say, well, what's the difference? This person bullied me before, so I might as well just let them just have their way with me if I didn't whoop them, or hey, I didn't really put them in their place like I should have. That's going to actually end up ruining things for you. It also invites, it sends invitations to manipulators when you go back into the past. Because think about it. If your new partner hears that, oh, boo-hoo, you don't trust people because your ex cheated on you, now you're telling this information emotionally to your new partner. Now they know what bothers you. Now they know what your fears are. So guess what? Now they're going to play games with you. Now they know how to manipulate and do the very thing that you hate, when they want to get their way with you, or hey, you're not doing what they want you to do. They know exactly where to go to. So that's why people use your past against you at this point, because, oh, they already see how messed up you are years later about something that happened in the past. Another thing is, it creates self-doubt. See, you don't believe in yourself like you should. You're unsure of yourself. You're not certain. You're not decisive, because you're thinking about how you used to be in high school. When I used to play sports back when I was in high school, and then you keep thinking about not making the team. Little things like that can hinder your future. It could delay your destiny. See, this is, like I say, this is all very powerful, because it does damage to you and you don't even realize it. Like I say, it repeats toxic cycles. Once something happens, the cycle ends, it's over with. No more thinking about how it used to be, none of that stuff. It also distorts your perception, see? Because if your intuition already led you away from something, and you still think that, oh, it's still cool to go back and revisit that place no matter what it is, you're doing yourself a disservice. Now you just sit up there and backstab your intuition that got you out of that situation. But if you go back to that thought, now you're like, oh, you're just gonna relive that toxic cycle. You're opening it right back up. Another thing is it keeps you loyal to being hurt. People that keep talking about the same thing, or how it used to be. It's not even the good old days. That's a bunch of BS. That's not no good old days if it has any pain related to it. But you could become loyal to being hurt. So think about it. If you worried about being hurt, that's almost the very thing that you fear is what's going to happen anyway, because there's power in believing something that you can't see. So if you say something that makes you doubt the fact. So if you are operating in fear rather than faith, then you're going to manifest those things. The very thing that you're afraid of, that's what you're going to get, because you already you already think that's what's going to happen anyway. You're already betting on a situation to go left or sour, and you don't have any hope. So you're basically just activating a loss of a bad situation for yourself. Another thing is it blocks your abundance, because abundant mindset means that, oh, there's so much more going on. So even if I miss something, I still will gain something. But if you automatically just think, oh, if you're going off the past, being a prisoner of the past, then what that'll do is block the abundance. It'll make you think that, oh, you only have one chance, and if you lose this, you're a failure, or hey, you're nothing, or you're lost, or whatever the situation may be. It also causes emotional burnout. You will actually, you keep thinking about the past. You've been to fell asleep. You've been to missed the episode of something you wanted to watch. You probably would have just ended up being in a mind-boggling situation that just consumed your energy with that old shit. See, another thing is that being a prisoner of the past, it makes you It makes you feed regret. See, damn, I should have done this. Damn, I should have talked to somebody else. Damn, I shouldn't have went to that school. Damn, I shouldn't have been over this person's house. But it keeps you into that spiritual heaviness of a moment. See, it also attracts those karmic tests, because it's like, yo, can you really live without this person? Can you really live without that situation that you used to be in? See, it also slows down manifestation. See, because you got people that always think negative. They always think they're not good. They always think that it can't be them, or hey, they can't pursue something, or they can't complete something. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about when it comes to those type of people that do that. They always say, "Oh no, I don't want to be the manager," or "No, I'm not a good leader." Saying those type of things, you're hindering yourself. See, it prevents growth. It pulls you backwards, not forwards. See, it invites guilt. See, in the weakest self-trust, you don't even trust yourself when you're doing this. See, you put so much trust into that old situation, which is what? It's karma. You're hurting yourself. That's why I said, Pisces, when you do this, you are your biggest enemy at this point when you're doing this. It reopens wounds, see, that you have already healed from. Another thing is it blurs the timelines. See, it's a timing of events that happen anyway. So it blurs those timelines when you start to revert back to the past. It steals your peace. See, you can't relax because you're tormented by those thoughts. It drains your creativity. It's hard to write a song or create art when you're looking at the past. See, so the past is like a channel, a TV network, and it's like you keep watching that old channel and you can't do nothing. See, but just feel the effects of that, how it used to be. It reinforces what? Victim roles. See, that keeps you as the victim when you keep going to the past, especially if it was something painful. Oh man, yeah, They let me go. I didn't make it. I didn't make the basketball team. The coach didn't pick me. And then once you internalize that, you will feel like the victim in all these new situations. You will always feel like you're not going to get picked. See? So that allows you to not even perform, not even try. It all starts with what you think is going to happen. See? You got to be optimistic anyway. You should be. You should always focus on being optimistic. You should always focus on being happy. See, being grateful, being humble, because listen, if you just look at the present, tune out everything that happened in 2006 and all that. Look at what's going on in 2026. Just have your mind focused on this year. Once you do that, you'll realize, wow, you make decisions from here on, and that's it. Not going back to the past is over with. Whoever I was in 2026, that's old. That's not even relevant to who I am today. Another thing is blocks new beginnings. It strengthens shadow cycles. So it keeps you at your lowest point. It keeps you in the dark sided mentality. So you can't really operate in your light side or put like this, like the goodness of yourself. You will always be operating out of the shadow side. See? And you don't want that, because with the shadow side, you can't see the light. You stay in the dark. That's why I say you end up being your biggest enemy. It also lowers your vibration. People can't feel your energy. So it's hard for you to heal others. And another thing too, people feel that, and they also probably don't want you to pray for them, because they realize, oh, will your prayer get through? See, just based off how you carry your energy and how you carry yourself, people can know, like, oh yeah, does this person really, is this person really could get a prayer up? Could they really move something with their energy right now? It attracts users. If you think about the past, people prey on that. See, they start to look at you as food. They start looking at you as an easy meal, a meal ticket. See, because obviously if you are wounded, remember I said, that's vulnerability. People are attracted. That's how people use you. If they see you're vulnerable, they're going to be like, oh, here, I can find, hey, this person is already at a low point. It's easier for a person to take advantage of you at that moment. Now, because you're not in your right mind, that's why. Another thing is that it keeps you tied to other people's mistakes. See? Because if somebody else made a mistake and they hurted you, now you're glued, now you're tied to that. See? Another thing causes emotional exhaustion. Like I said, you become emotionally exhausted by thinking about the past. It blocks your clarity. See? And a lot of times too, you could think that, oh, now you could feel like you deserve the same treatment that happened in the past. So if someone else does they do you right, sometimes you could become, like I said, addicted to what? Pain. That's how some people get confused when they actually have real friends and they can't even see the difference, because they're looking at the past like, oh, and now they're confusing the past, bad relationships, bad friendships with what's going on now. So when they have these, listen, that's why your friend that you may have now, he might start to what? He might start to second guess, or hey, he might say things like he doesn't trust you guys because he doesn't trust what? Because he didn't trust the people that hurt him in the past. So now he's treating these new people like enemies. See how ass backwards that is? And it's all because of the disruptance of what? Self-sabotage. That's what it does. It fuels it. So there's no empathy here, because when you think about the past, now it's trapped. See? So you really can't reach out to no one in this state of mind. Another thing, it weakens your discernment. So as I mentioned, you won't be able to know the difference between a good person or a bad person in their behavior. Another thing, confuses love with pain. See, you think that, oh, if people treat you how they did, how things were in the past, Now you think, oh, that must be real love. If I, people have the misconception of, oh, that must be love. If, if they treated me bad, then it's almost like you become addicted to it. See, because you won't know what love really feels like if you don't love yourself in the first place. You can't give something that you don't have for yourself. Another thing, it anchors that fear-based fear-based decisions. So you don't want to, get into a situation of thinking about the past. It just keeps you in fear. It also blocks peace. Like I say, as a Pisces, it keeps you invisible. See, so a lot of times you might not feel a part of anything because once you look at the past, and once you accept it, what you saw in the past, you relive it. That's why you gotta be careful not to even think about stuff like that, because you start to relive those same years, them same moments, as if they were all what presently happening all over again, because you brought it back to life. See, like for instance, the metaphor I like to use is like Chucky, the doll or the toy or whatever, how you want to say it. He basically he got manifested into into Chucky. See, so it's like somebody had to what, remember him, remember the experience, remember, pretty much summon him into Chucky itself. So it's like, if you look at Chucky, he was a manifestation. So sometimes you can manifest something that has already died already. You bring it back to life, and it comes back with it's not going to be a nice situation. It's not going to end nice, because you manifest something that was already of evil already. See, and it will take over because you don't have enough strength to stop it, because you already put a lot of fuel, a lot of energy into what manifesting it in the first place. Now, another thing is that it prevents rebirth. Okay, so as you know, if you die to something, meaning that if it's something of the old, and hey, let's say you got past it, well, that situation's supposed to die, so that way you can have rebirth, be born again into a new situation, have a second chance. But that doesn't happen when you are stuck in the past. Now, the danger and the karma of living in the past, okay, is that your past energy, as I mentioned, it repeats until it's released. That is the most dangerous thing about it, because what if you never release it? Now you just will keep reliving year by year. What is the point of making a New Year's resolution? See, because your past energy will rob every year of your life, because you haven't released that old shit or the old way of thinking. See, that's just like saying, look, that's just like saying if someone is racist and they don't like a certain type of person, right? Year after year, they never let go of this old, just toxic thinking, right? And then all of a sudden, they meet some real good people, like some real good friends, some real good colleagues, some real good workers, whoever it may be, business partners. But because you have this one past old ass thought of, hey, how your grandparents raised you, and hey, don't talk to this type of person, they are this way. Those people have instilled a generational curse within you, within your soul, to have you constantly reliving that old way of thinking, right? So now it has robbed you of your friendships, people that you could have possibly went in business with, a relationship, a marriage, all because of that thought. It's cold-blooded. You probably won't hire someone because, oh, hey, my great-grandfather told me not to talk to this type of person. Oh, how long ago was that? Well, damn, that was 25 years ago. And it's still doing damage in your life, and hey, you still don't have any peace, because you're still cursing yourself with that old thought. See that? You become a prisoner of your past. And you'll be chained to it until you finally snap out of it and release it and say, I love all people. Once you do that, now you will have new life. You will have new Hey, new friends that you never had, because anything that you think of and say those such type of things, oh, I don't like this, oh, I don't want to work here, oh, I don't want to be around these people. That shit ends up blocking you. It might be a boss that is that same race that your grandfather said, yo, stay away from this person. All of a sudden, that's the owner of the NBA or some type of goal you have. Or, hey, that's the person that you actually got to do business with to get, hey, to graduate from college or whoever. That might be the person you really got to know to get past, to get something you want. See? But as soon as you, oh man, my granddaddy said, don't talk to this pipe. Oh, don't go over here. Don't do that. That fear kick in, it robs you. Now you just missed the opportunity to be in the NBA. Now you missed the opportunity to be a doctor, a nurse, or whatever, because your instructor was what your granddaddy said, stay away from. See, it's just lies. People do stuff to brainwash you anyway in order to control you. And see, it controls your soul because some people just don't want you to what? Have a better, happier life. That's what it is. See, a lot of stuff is nonsense and stupid because if animals don't do it, why are you doing it in the first place? But getting back, when it comes to living in the past, okay, so the danger of karma, living in the past, old wounds, what do? They attract new lessons. See, another thing is because even if the lesson ended, now here comes a new lesson with the old wounds. So it's like it just repeats itself because you haven't learned to let it go. Another thing is like I said, karma doesn't punish. What does karma do? It teaches you. See, it reteaches you. So that's why when we end people's cycles as Pisces, it's not that, oh, the karma comes to put belt to ass. No, it comes to teach you a lesson. See, sometimes people have to be spanked in such a way to wake up, to really get their attention. See, another thing is like a Pisces that doesn't release becomes what? Emotional time travelers. See that? So if they don't release, you just go through the timeline of events in an emotional way, and you feel everything. And yeah, it hurts because you can't shake the thoughts. And the universe escalate these lessons when you ignore them. See? So what happens when a Pisces let go? Okay, if you let go, then that's when the reality shifts because you are in tune with it. So when anytime the energy shifts, you already get whiff of it. See? And another thing is enemies disappear when you let go of those old thoughts. See? Another thing is peace increases. Then the intuition sharpens. You know, you start to open those new paths. And then the karma clears. So understand when it comes to Pisces that we all carry what? Memories deeper than any other sign. So when it comes to the past, it isn't meant to what? Be your prison. So holding on to the pain, it just, like I say, all that's going to do is it's going to keep those karmic cycles coming, keeping them live, blocking your new blessings. And like I say, this message is for anybody that is ready to release at the end of the day and evolve. So another thing is okay, so let's talk about it. Another reason why you don't want to be a prisoner of the past, because of the past lives. See, and I ain't talking about the past lives that I just done all week. And I'm not talking about the lives, but the past lives. See, because Pisces is the last sign of the Zodiac, okay? We all know that. And we all carry what? A collective memory of everything. And what does this do? We end up picking up emotional residue. See? So we got to burn it off some type of way, right? But at the same time, we also carry unfinished lessons. See? So that empathy is what? It comes from lived experiences. See? That's how your empathy becomes stronger, because once you go through a situation and once the cycle ends, then you get new power. See, you get rejuvenated. And by this new energy, the empathy becomes stronger because now you know how to go about it. Now you know how to feel without being hurt. See, you know how to feel your way through things, to understand. So that allows you to what? That allows you to not fall into these pitfalls, these troubles of, oh, what we call fears. See, empathy allows you to stay in a chaotic situation, but not get hurt in it. See, this allows you to help someone that's in trouble, but not be affected by the trouble that that person is going through, because empathy blocks it all out. See, now, past lives for Pisces, what? It does not mean that, oh, it's it does not mean that it's like a literal reincarnation. So some people mix that up. They think like, oh, you go back into life to be a baby bird, or to go back in life reincarnated. Like, you know, some of us just joke to, you know, play around when we say that, but that's not what I'm saying, okay? What I'm talking about is basically going back to what? Emotional memory. See, that's what I mean by the past lives. A pattern, let's look at the pattern of, or the pattern of series of events. Those are pertaining to cycles, relational memories, you know, the nervous system memories. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to past lives. Now, another thing is that it could be related to the ancestral and the karmic themes. So like something that went on way before you were even born. Now, Pisces remembers how things felt. See, that's going back to the empathy. Now, not just what just happened, okay? It's not always, oh, what happened? Us Pisces feel everything. Now, let's look at the there's good and bad sides to the past lives. Now, when it's in the good, like I say, that's when you have the wisdom without the bitterness. See, compassion without what? Self-sacrifice. You know, intuition without fear. Forgiveness with boundaries. See, you can still forgive somebody, but you have to set boundaries at the same time. See, because what do people think? As soon as you forgive them, they think they have another chance at hurting you. See, and that's not the case. Now, the bad side of things, when a person is unhealed, when it comes to the past lives, that would look more like a person just living emotionally in the past, confusing pain with identity. See, you are not changed by the pain that you feel in the situation. That does not affect your identity, but most people think it does, because once they become hurt, they think that they're wounded, or they think they're a wounded individual. See, like they have a stamp on their forehead. Another bad side to the past lives is feeling responsible for other people, repeating the karmic patterns. So those are some things to look at. Now, I'm going to tell you all the reasons why Pisces shouldn't be a prisoner of the past. Now, when it comes to the emotional memory traps, okay, one is the fact that this will reactivate old karma. See, the example that I want to give you guys is the fact, let's say you run into the same personality type in a different body. See, this is cold-blooded, because a lot of times, this is why, like, one thing that I used to do is I used to have this idea where I used to have different suits. See, not literally different suits. I'm talking about different suits, meaning different bodies of energy, meaning that if I go into a situation, I could mirror or, hey, deflect without having to use my energy in a situation that I may have felt that it wasn't necessary, or, hey, I just didn't want to. So the problem with this is the fact that could be a emotional memory trap. See, because you will run into what? The same personality. But if you do, it will be in the different bodies. So you got to be careful because when you do that, you're bringing on old karma. And you don't, like I say, it may sound familiar or it may not, but it's not worth it. See, now another thing is that it blocks new love. See, so how this may look is the fact that you might look at every new partner and compare them to an ex of yours. See, that's nasty, because now imagine you with a new female, or if you're a female, you got a new boyfriend, but now you're comparing all these people from the past to your ex. And it's like not only that, now you're looking at the new people and you're comparing them to your ex. See, so now it looks like, oh, you're treating all these new people you just met as your ex. You're comparing them, so now you're not even seeing the good qualities in the new people, or just understanding that they're different. So another thing is an emotional memory trap that happens as well is you start to attract familiar pain. So this means you start choosing people who feel known, not safe. See, that's cold-blooded. Now, another thing, welcome Alicia, welcome everybody that just came in. Yeah, so another thing is the emotional memory traps also that happen is it drains your intuition. So what tends to happen here is your trauma is, when your trauma gets masked, then what does it do? It covers your gut instincts. See? Now, another thing is it keeps you emotionally frozen. And what this means is that you stay stuck in who you used to be. Sometimes you could be confused with how you're living right now, and it might not make sense to you because it's new. So then all of a sudden you start to say, oh, this ain't me, because you're looking at 10 years ago. Well, truth is you're not in the past. See what I mean? Like, things feel new because you are doing new things. So just, appreciate it, accept it for what it is. Another thing is these emotional traps that occur keeps you confused, see, with your present identity. So that makes you what? You start living as your past self. You probably was gambling years ago, now you're doing it again. It also weakens your boundaries. So you start to what? Overgive to prove your self-worth. Like I say, advice manipulators. So when I said that, that means that people sense that, oh, you have unresolved guilt. See, like when it comes to creating that self-doubt, that makes you what? Start saying, oh, was it my fault? Then you start getting into looping. See, you keep saying it over and over and over and over. Is it my fault? Is it my fault? Something goes wrong. Is it my fault? Because you just have that self-doubt. See, you always think that you're at fault. And when I meant by delaying destiny, that means that you start what? Missing opportunities because of fear. Remember I said afraid to go places because, oh, what was said by someone, a loved one, a friend, whoever it may have been, a wife, a husband, not to do something. Now, all of a sudden you start missing opportunities. Now, going back to the repeat of the cycle, with that, it's a syndrome that happens with this because you don't want to repeat cycles. They're supposed to end. Like I say, when you see patterns, there's supposed to be an ending to them. So repeating the toxic patterns, that means that, oh, you're having the same arguments with different people. You might not realize it. Maybe somebody in the past used to argue with all the time. And all of a sudden, now you're doing that same behavior with a new person and presently. So, that would be a example of a repeated cycle. Another thing is it destroys and distorts perception. So you may just start seeing threats, where they where there aren't any. Okay. So This a lot. That's what I'm saying. You having the type of thinking like this will have you hallucinating. You might start thinking you hear things when there's nothing there. You might think people are threatening you, like I said, and they're not. See, um, another thing, you will stay loyal to the hurt, as I mentioned, and break this down. So that means that you just start to what defend people who harmed you. See, and then a lot of times people do this, and I don't know why, but it's like, let's say you get two black eyes, boom, boom. Next thing you know, somebody that obviously didn't like you, or hey, you just got into a fight, and all of a sudden, that person punches you in the face. You get two black eyes. But here's the problem. Then what ends up happening is you start to defend them. See, you start to defend the people that harmed you. So that means you're just loyal to being hurt. See, now another thing is it lowers your self-worth. And what that means, like I say, that means that you're settling. You're settling for less because why? This is familiar to you. You're used to it. It's hard if somebody keeps on hurting you and you become a victim to that hurt, right? Then all of a sudden, when people start treating you better or treating you good, you won't accept it. See? Because why? Your self-worth. You don't think, oh, you might not even believe that it's actually the right thing to do because, oh, who, me? Who, me? Like, wow, people actually think that I'm cool in this. And then you look at the past like a mirror and you say, well, it couldn't be me because nobody likes me, and it's just because somebody said that to you in the past. Another thing, it keeps enemies relevant. So it will always keep you looping, thinking about who? The people who move, the people who moved on. See? These people are not even thinking about you. You're thinking about them. 10 years later, you're still thinking about Joseph who slapped you in the face. Or hey, Tyrone that effed your girl. Do you really think they're sitting around saying, oh, Thompson and Stevens Point, or hey, Billy Bob, hey man, I wonder if his girl is around so I can F her again? No, fam. That was 10 years ago. You gotta let that shit die and let that shit go, fam. Like, you keep thinking about that, that's gonna keep on ruminating and just tearing up your future and your new opportunities. Now, another thing is that like I say, anchors fear. See, making decisions from old wounds. Um, Another thing blocks the abundance, and what that means is that you start living your life in a scarcity mindset from past losses. Clouds your judgment, so you start overthinking instead of what? Trusting instincts. So you don't want to do that. Creates burnout, so you may just start carrying the emotional weight, baggage every day. Just feeding regret. And that's just like replaying what if scenarios because like, oh, what if this situation ends how it did years ago or yesterday? Because even if it hasn't been years ago, just thinking about yesterday is the same thing. See, um, now the shadow karmic loops that happen from this is like that spiritual heaviness that I was referring to. What does that mean? That's more about, a person feeling tired without physical reasons. Like, oh, you didn't even do anything to exert yourself, but you're just tired for no reason. So that's spiritual heaviness that's occurring and happening presently. Now, another thing is, just attracting those karmic tests. So you just repeating lessons that until you finally learn that, hey, stop doing it. In other words, slows manifestation. So you basically get these emotional signals. Remember I said when you never want to make decisions out of your emotions, because that will make what? That will make the process of the manifestation what? Slower. So you'll take forever because you're putting the emotions. Emotions are supposed to be used as a filter. Welcome, Alto. Welcome, everybody just came in. Another thing is emotional paralysis. Okay, what this means is like just wanting change, but then feeling stuck at the same time. Survival mode living, so you always start bracing for an impact. That's another thing that can lead with anxiety, because you always, think something bad is going to come from anything that comes near you or towards you in your life. Prevents the growth. So why is this? Because of the fear of evolving. And it comes from what? From the past of others. It's like, yo, you can't get past that one thing. See, it actually gets in your way every single time. Then you start to what? You start confusing intuition with traumas. See, so that means that you start to mistake things with anxiety for a gut feeling, because you're worried about, oh yeah, is this gonna end up being, trouble for me, or is this gonna be a bad situation for me? And you start thinking that's your intuition, and it's not. See, um, you also start to be pulled backwards from things, because when you had that nasty, what's that called? When you start having that feeling, that bad feeling where it sounds familiar, and then it starts to become like an emotional quicksand for you. So you start realizing that, damn, I don't want to come any I don't want to come any closer to this situation. So you start to pull back. See, just because, oh, it seems like the same old thing, and it's not. It invites guilt. So you may start feeling responsible for other people's pain. See, that's another thing. That's how this thinking in the past. Another thing that causes it, and I understand, you guys, that it's kind of, you may think that it's hard to do so, but it's not. It just takes practice, because we all do it. We all think about the past, but the very things you just have to do is realize that it has no relevance, because nobody can go back into time and say, yo, let me pull something from the past and bring it here. It wouldn't make no sense. Another thing, it weakens the self-trust. So you start second guessing everything. See, every choice. Um, Energy and relationship consequences that happen because of it. You start to reopen wounds. The healing gets interrupted because of you ruminating about old shit. So that's another thing. Like, if you been cheated on or just hurt, period, put in a painful situation from your past or childhood, just by you thinking about it, now you're reopening that wound. See, so that does more damage. It affects your energy. Uh, it blurs the timeline, so then it starts to what? The past emotion starts to leak into what? Your present life. And that's the thing about being a Pisces and you being the container for emotions. But here's the problem. Whenever there's a leakage, that allows you to what? Lose the absorption of what you contain, especially being around others' energy. Because you're supposed to use your emotions as a filter. You're not supposed to use it to what? You're not supposed to keep them contained and bring them with you in the future, bring them to a new situation from the past. It all steals peace from you. So your mind never rests. You're always thinking. Um, you go through the emotional loops of just same feelings on repeat. See, drains your creativity. So then that pain starts to what? It starts to replace inspiration. Um, you basically go through a delay of healing. So that what allows you to avoid closure with those old thoughts. Tracks users, as I mentioned, that means that you just basically start to over empathize, and then it gets exploited. Now, it also calls that victim identity. So that just means that you start to define yourself by traumas, what you've been through, from the ages on, from the past, keeps just contracts alive. So you basically when it comes to those emotional ties, you never cut them. See, you stay linked to them. So another thing is that it blocks new beginnings because of the fear of what? Unknown joy. See, um, now let's look at it from a soul purpose, okay? In in a sense of where it's more it's freezing now. I don't know why, you guys, but I had to start doing my videos in the crib, man, because this is freaking freezing in here. Y'all see the snow is like covering up everything. But yeah, it was feeling good at first. Now it just got super cold out of nowhere. Okay, so the next thing is like I say, the soul and psychological cost of this thinking in the past, being a prisoner of the past, is remember I said strengthening the shadow cycle. Because when you strengthen your shadow cycle, then what this does is it makes you want to escape. See, or it will make you go on a numbing spree to where you just want to numb everything. You want to numb your, in regards to your behavior, how you behave. So it lowers your vibrations. So then all of a sudden, the heavy emotion starts to become what? Your temperature, your atmosphere. See, it's all you can see, it's all you can know, it's all you could, breathe or feel or express. Also, you get tied to other people's mistakes. So then you start carrying blame that isn't yours. Another thing is the emotional exhaustion. What that means, you just constantly overuse and oversharing your empathy, and you become fatigued. Blocks your clarity, so then you start over-identifying with pain, and invites confusion into your life, mixed signals internally. So that blocks everything. You can't express clearly. People don't know what you're really saying when you feel like you said enough, or hey, you probably said it in the most simplest way, and all of a sudden people still don't know where you're coming from. Lessons unfinished. So that means that you go through the same themes, the same, repeated situations. Another thing is, like I say, when it disrupts your intuition, this means that you start to doubt the inner voice that you hear. Another thing, slows evolution of, you moving forward. See, it just keeps you, keeps you what? Pulling back, keeps that fear active. And like self-sabotage, what does that do? That just pushes you away from the good things. Now, it also affects your destiny when it comes to stagnation, okay? Your empathy becomes a weakness instead of a strength. And then what does this do? When it comes to absorbing other people's emotions, see? Weakens discernment, so you just start to trust too fast, too quickly with the wrong people. Repeated loss, same heartbreaks happen over and over. It dims your spiritual power, so you start to disconnect from your purpose. Missed destiny encounters, so the right people come at the wrong time. Confuses love with pain, so then that means that the intensity of a situation, it gets mistaken for intimacy. You basically just start having fear, operating out of fear base. You start having when it comes to your decision making, you start to operate out of fear rather than from growth. Another thing, whenever there's a point where that you may be calm or become calm in a situation, that could become unfamiliar to you, to where when things are quiet, you start looking at that as being a problem. So it definitely blocks your peace. It can make a Pisces feel invisible, and at the same time, what would that do? Make you hide your brilliance, nature. So it really blocks it, could really cuts off every strength and every power from Pisces when you think about the past or try to go back into the past lives. Prevents rebirth. So at this point, Pisces is meant to remember I said at the beginning of the stream, transcend, which means another word for transform. So that means that, not stand. See? So you really got to watch out for that. Now, another thing about Pisces in the past is that Pisces doesn't cling to the past. See, because they don't do this because they're weak. A lot of people think that, but that's the misconception. See, they do it because they remember what? The lessons deeply. See, now another thing is the fact that when it comes to the lesson of Pisces is to what? Release. Release, release, release. Not retention, okay? So always know that if you are stuck in the old ways of thinking, hey, being a prisoner of your past, always remember to let go. See, release it. Because the past is, all the past is information. That's it. See, it's not your identity. So anything that happened in your past, whether you got, you became a felon, you may have done something, criminal wise, or criminal, against the law, that doesn't mean that, oh yeah, you are this person forever. No, that's just the information from the past. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, when we say past lives for Pisces, what are we referring to? We're referring to unfinished business. See, that's what the past lives represent. So when realistically speaking, for Pisces past lives, it means emotional memory. See, it means old identity versions. It means unresolved relationships. It means unfinished lessons. See, that we may have missed. Nervous system patterns. And then, like I say, it also refers to habits and beliefs, and then, the roles that you once lived, of who you used to be. But it doesn't mean that you must become that old version again, okay? That's not what I'm saying. Now, when it's safe for a Pisces to what? Revisit the past, then, like I say, an example of that would be you understanding why you reacted a certain way. See? Then another reason would be you actually recognizing the patterns that you don't want to repeat. Another thing is forgiving yourself and others, taking the wisdom without carrying the pain, finishing emotional chapters internally, not reopening from externally about the situation. So when we say this, we are basically referring to what? Processing, not what? Regression. Now, when it's not safe to go back into the past, regarding the past lives, it's because when you can, okay, put it like this, you can't try to relive your old self, your old identity. Another thing is trying to reconnect with harmful people for closure. So that's another reason or example why it's not safe. Another thing is confusing pain with purpose, believing that suffering is required for growth. People say that, oh, if you don't put, the work in, or hey, you don't do this, that, that's the only way. Just romanticizing with old traumas, that would be another reason why, hey, it's not safe. Like I say, so that just means it's unfinished business. That's not reopening wounds. Now, one thing y'all gotta know, damn, it's cold. Like I'm frozen. Feel like that movie Frozen. One thing, Pisces, the number one rule, okay? I'm gonna give y'all a few of these. Is unfinished business is what? It's completed through awareness. See, not repetition. The more aware you are, that allows you to not go back to the past. See, because it's already been resolved. Now, If the lesson fully needs to be completed, then that's a different story, see? Because then it will resolve internally. See, that's the difference. It won't be through chaos, confrontation, or sacrifice. It won't be by you having to return back to those toxic environments. No. Or it won't be by having to prove anything to anybody. See? So that's how you know it. Now, why does a Pisces feel pulled to go back to the past lives? It's because you're ruled by Neptune. See? And what does Neptune govern? Neptune, it governs memory, see? Symbolism, emotional timing, imagination, and empathy. So that makes Pisces feel like, oh, the past is what? It's still alive. But at the same time, feeling something that doesn't mean you must act on it. See, that's the difference. So the healthiest way to handle unfinished business would be to name the lesson. What did this teach me about myself, for example? But then you still gotta extract the wisdom, see? Because then you're able to see the strength, the boundaries, the discernment, and the self-respect. But you also have to release the role at the same time, because you're not you are not who you were when you learned the lesson in the first place. So do not revisit the source, see? Because why? As I mentioned, closure doesn't require contact. So you must always anchor in the present, not the past. So that means that you will experience and have new choices and new outcomes. See how you have to change? You gotta switch it up. Now the danger for Pisces will be to a Pisces can mistake some things because of the illusion. So things may look like, oh, it's for your destiny, but it may not be. They may look at the intuition for trauma, see? Or they may look at empathy for obligation or memory for identity, which we just spoke about that, hey, you can't do that. Now, that's when the unfinished business becomes a loop instead of a lesson. And you don't want that. You don't want it to be a loop. Now, the truth most people miss is the fact that Pisces is the final sign of the Zodiac, which we know, but some people miss it. And that means that you don't go backwards to finish things up. See, you don't go backwards to finish anything. You are the last Zodiac sign. So that means that you end things, you complete things. See, when you show up, that means that there's an ending that must be taking place with somebody, whoever the situation. You might think that, oh, you got hired at a job, but you were hired to end cycles, patterns within that company. You may be the type of Pisces that will find out that the company is closing down, that they're going to remodel or build elsewhere. And you live to see it because the ending, you were, it doesn't matter if you had something to do with it or not. Now, another reason is that Pisces is the final sign of the Zodiac. So you transcend them, see? You transform them. Now, another thing is that you carry wisdom forward, see? Not pain. So you always think of the wisest or you always look at the wise situation to make or to do in a situation. Now, when it comes to summing this up in a nutshell, when things are safe, that's when you find reflecting, understanding, integrating. But when things are unsafe, you start to realize that there's reliving, re-entering, and reenacting, okay? So you don't finish unfinished business by becoming your past self. That's not how you do things. You finish it by outgrowing it. See, if you outgrow a group of friends, that means that you will have new friends. See, and that's the situation in itself. So let me see. I appreciate everybody coming out to the live tonight. Smash the like button. Those of you that are new, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow on the next live stream. And that is always, like I say, I'm gonna drop some videos because I've been working on my intros or whatnot. So yeah, definitely got that coming in, new music and merch and all that good stuff. And I love y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace out. Thanks for watching.